What are some events in recorded history that are extremely hard to believe? The story of Desmond Doss, if you've seen Hacksaw Ridge, that tells it, but they tell the watered-down version for the movie because they didn't think anyone would believe it with all the full details. The basics of the story are basically, he was left behind on a cliff with a lot of men who were wounded when the US had to pull out in WW2. He then single-handedly carried 75 men off that cliff and lowered them down to men below to be rescued. He was the first conscientious objector to win the Medal of Honor for what he did. But he was also malnourished because of his religious beliefs. He couldn't eat some of the food he was given, so he's this very thin guy, managing to lift and carry 75 men in one night and then lower them down a cliff. And the movie showed the next day he knocked away a grenade and was injured. But he was more injured than they showed with 17 pieces of shrapnel in his body, and he literally got off the stretcher when waiting to be brought down for someone more injured than he was, and was providing medical care to that guy as he had been blasted. Even crazier, some of the Japanese soldiers in the battle claimed to have had him in their sights multiple times, and every time they tried to shoot him, their gun jammed. Check out the 2004 documentary, The Conscientious Objector. Yeah, that's true. I think I remember them saying they thought about including that in the movie, but it felt too unbelievable since he had some pretty crazy times where guns jammed or everyone missed him. In 1920, President Paul Deschanel of France fell through the window of the train while traveling on the Orient Express. He stumbled up to the nearest signal box in his pajamas and told the signalman that he needed help and that he was the president of France. The signalman reportedly replied, "And I'm Napoleon Bonaparte." Was he really Napoleon Bonaparte? Don't end the story with a cliffhanger. The suspense is building. For example, Halley's Comet appeared in the sky when Mark Twain was born in 1835. The comet moves in a 75 or 76-year orbit, and, as it neared Earth once again, Twain said, "I came in with Halley's Comet and I expect to go out with it." Sure enough, he died on April 21st, 1910, just as the comet made its next pass within sight of Earth. Yeah, when I hear stuff like that, I question a lot of things. The Great Arizona Irohan Abduction. Basically, Catholic nuns brought Irish orphans to Arizona to put them in good upstanding Catholic families. Most of the Catholic families in Arizona were Mexican. White people see white children being placed in Mexican households, so they form a vigilante group to kidnap the children. It was a giant fisticuff. It's like, hey, only we can do that. The Archduke's car stalling right in front of his would be assassin having a sandwich. Dude wasn't even trying to kill him anymore. It was just a right place, right time coincidence.